The trailer for Creed 3 has everything you need in a boxing movie. Ice baths, a childhood rivalry, and adrenaline-pumping workout montages. But it also debunks a popular theory about Jonathan Majors' character, Damian. Unfortunately, though, we'll only see the story play out in March of next year, since the movie got delayed by 4 months. So today, we're gonna break the Damian theory down, and later on, we'll dive into the movie's delay. Starting with, Damian is not Clubber Lang's son. As soon as Jonathan Majors got cast in Creed 3, someone started a rumor that the movie would have a really strange reveal. He's Clubber Lang's son. Were there any sources confirming or even hinting at this? No, but the internet loves to play, so we let them have it. The idea was that since the second movie was sort of a sequel to Rocky IV, since it brought back Ivan Drago, Rocky's nemesis, and his son Victor, but the trailer debunks the Clubber Lang theory quicker than Ivan putting Apollo down. Still too soon to make that joke? Anyway, Majors plays Adonis's childhood friend who got sent to prison 18 years ago and is now back in the real world. Now, the trailer doesn't outright say that he isn't Lang's son, but it's safe to say that the story's going another way. It's about Donnie getting a blast from the past by going up against his best friend turned bitter enemy. Next, it's better that Damian isn't related to Clubber Lang. Other than being a repeat of the previous movie, shoehorning in a story about Clubber Lang's long-lost son coming to get even with Rocky's protege doesn't really make sense. It's been decades since Lang got into the ring with Rocky, and he isn't from Russia, where you'd be an outcast for losing to an American. Ivan and Victor coming back to the US to prove their worth makes more sense than Lang's son trying to get even with an old man. Besides, Creed 3 is about Adonis and his broken friendship. It's a more personal story about jealousy and reclaiming what should have been yours. Damian feels like a genuine threat to Adonis, not because he might be Lang's son, but because he's lived behind bars while his best friend moved on and lived the life he should have been living. What's more, Rocky's absence proves that Creed wants to stand on his own. From what we know, Sylvester Stallone won't be making an appearance in the upcoming sequel. In Creed 2, he was battling cancer, and he seemed to be making progress, but maybe we'll find out that he died sometime later. In our opinion, that's not a bad call. We'll miss Rocky's quippy one-liners and sage monologues, but his absence proves that the Creed franchise wants to stand on its own. That's another reason why Damian should not be Lang's son, because it'd connect Creed 3 to Rocky 3, and that'd water down its importance. Victor Drago will be coming back, sure, but not with Ivan. He's got his own history with Adonis, and it's separate from Rocky's rivalry with his dad. Creed 3 doesn't want to rely on Rocky's past, and that's a good thing. Still, it doesn't mean Damian's backstory doesn't echo Clubber Lang's. A troubled childhood, a stint in prison, and rage-fueled jealousy for the main character. You could say that the story borrows elements from Lang's character, but not much else. And we love that, because Damian's a different beast than Victor Drago. Now, what else do we know about Damian so far? So far, he's shaping up to be Adonis's ideal nemesis. He looks just as intimidating. He's fast, and he's got the eye of the tiger. In the trailer, Bianca notices that Donnie's shaken by his best friend's release. In fact, he's so rattled by the news that it seems like he's keeping a secret. Did Dame take the fall for something he did? Or did Donnie snitch on him? Let's assume that Donnie snitched on his best friend, and that's why he avoided prison, and Dame didn't. He gets out of prison after 18 long years, and then probably needs a trainer to help him fight Adonis. Victor comes to mind, unless he's made peace with his rival since their match. Either way, there's more to Dame's story than meets the eye, and a little mystery's good for the audience. Not to mention, Damian's physique is more than just an aesthetic choice. There's no denying that Majors has an unbelievable physique in Creed 3. The internet's been thirsting over his Men's Health photo shoot, showing rock-hard abs and a chiseled athletic look. When you're the star of a movie as big as Creed, or playing the villain in an MCU movie, you can't be caught slacking. But it turns out there's a deeper meaning behind Damian's Greek god physique. In a recent interview with Men's Health, he revealed that Damian's physique is a result of trauma and a deep sense of loss. He's lost his childhood, his friends, and his chance at making it big in the boxing world. Having carved out abs is just a side benefit. While we think having a body like that would make anyone's life better, Majors doesn't think so. In his interview, he said that his trauma forces him to work out constantly and build physical barriers. You could say that his ripped physique acts as a metaphor for the walls we build around ourselves. We don't know much about the plot of the movie since everything's under wraps, but Majors' comments tell you much more about his character. It adds another layer to the character and turns him from just some villain to a man who's lost everything and is trying to build himself back up, one pull-up at a time. The trailer set everything up perfectly, and we can't wait to see a layered, subtext-heavy face-off between Anderson Dame and Adonis Creed. Coming up, Creed 3 is breaking an old Rocky tradition. Creed 3's slated for a worldwide release on March 3, 2023, being delayed by 4 months. It was originally meant to hit theaters this November 23rd. But what can you do? While it's certainly a bummer, it's also a break in the franchise's seasonal release tradition. The first 2 movies were released in November of their respective years, with the first hitting cinemas on November 27th and the second on November 21st. If that sounds like a coincidence, the Rocky movies also followed this pattern. Well, except Rocky 2 and 3. But you gotta understand, it wasn't a Rocky tradition back then. It started becoming a pattern after the release of Rocky 5, with Rocky Balboa releasing in December. People usually expect the Rocky or Creed movies to come around seasonally, rather than releasing whenever it's economically viable. Creed 3 might need some more post-production time, since they could be doing reshoots for certain scenes. Plus, if they are doing reshoots, then Major's schedule might come into conflict, since he's busy with several Marvel projects at the moment. The delayed release could also be because the studio simply wants to release the movie in a commercially quieter period of the year, when audiences won't have to choose between multiple franchises to spend their money. Up next, why following the holiday tradition is a good thing for the franchise. If you've binged the entire Rocky and Creed series, you'll notice that the stories take place almost entirely in the winter months. For example, the first Rocky started his story right after Thanksgiving, and more famously, Rocky's ultimate fight with Ivan Drago took place on Christmas Day. On the other hand, both Creed movies take place during the holiday season, namely November through January. The frequent winter backdrops and holiday timeframes make it seem like the studio's trying to associate the franchise with Christmas. It's a psychological thing, and it works. Why do you think people love Die Hard so much? Because it's a Christmas movie. Although we can't make the same debate about the Rocky and Creed movies. Die Hard just has more clout in that department. Still, a holiday season setting is a deliberate choice, and people are going to connect it with Christmas one way or the other. Watching Rocky wake up at 4 a.m. and go for the run in the bitter cold of Philadelphia is an image you can't forget, and breaking the holiday tradition simply doesn't feel right. Finally, will the delay hurt Creed's box office prospects? Keeping aside the whole tradition debate, Creed 3 might have to contend with Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and John Wick 4, and that may spell trouble for Creed, since it's easy to assume what most audiences will spend their money on. Both Shazam 2 and John Wick 4 are highly anticipated movies that audiences have been dying to watch ever since their announcements. But even if Creed 3 released on its original date, it'd be releasing after Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which is probably the most hyped movie of this year so far. We don't think Avatar 2 had the same audience response Black Panther did, since it's honoring the legacy left behind by Chadwick Boseman, since it's a sports drama, which is different from what Marvel, DC, and John Wick have to offer, and it's Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. You can bet they'll be pushing that in marketing over the next 4 months. So will it have an easy time at the box office in March? No. But will it be great? Absolutely. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. So what did you think of Creed's trailer? Do you think Creed 3 will pull a Rocky and have Adonis lose in the end? Tell us your theories down below. If you want to stay in the loop about everything Hollywood, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next one.